Well, howdy everyone, Cowy, your average sim racer here. It's round 4 for season 3 2025 and we are at Portland International Raceway. It is, it's only a short lap around this track. Very much one where you're sort of manipulating the car through throttle control and sort of subtle uses of the brake to get the weight transference as you need it through these sort of corners. Setup wise, I've gone with a Canadian tyre setup, though I have softened it quite a bit in the front and the rear, but I was looking for a setup that sort of handled these long radius corners first where you could get on the power, and then it's just trying to balance the car from there. So that's a good sign. I am starting to get a handle on how I can use the setups to improve my driving, get the car to do what I want it to do. I know you guys have been on me about trying to do a setup guide for Bathurst and several other tracks. So I am getting there, and I've had a bit of a chance to do a few laps here and work on the setup, so we'll see how we go for the track guide. Alright, going back to third for the last corner. Now, coming out of here, you can get on the gas hard, but see there, I was a little bit early, a little bit quick on the last bit of the throttle, and the car just steps out. So you've got to be smooth. Alright, braking inside the 500, going back to third, trailing deep into the corner, going back to second. You can get up on the curbs, and as you can see, she's quite bumpy, especially in a motion rig. Be careful, the car wants to rotate there. Braking about a car length or two on when it plateaus. And here is where you start that throttle manipulation and brake that I was talking about. So really trying to maximize your speed through this section, and I think this is where the really quick guys are going to find that extra second. This is the most important corner. I've gone a little bit deep there because you really want to try and get a great run onto this straight. So I stay tight here at the wall. And up here, we're looking at a brake and shift back to fourth at about the 300. You could go a little bit deeper if you want, but it is pretty risky. Get up on the curb and braking back to third and do it all again. And again, it has to be very smooth on your application there and of the accelerator. All right, let's have another go. You can push it a little bit here, but just be careful. Oh, so you see, that's the issue. Now, I maybe exaggerated that a little bit to show you, but that you got to be careful of that weight transference. You can probably try and carry a bit more speed through here. Run wide. You want to be this apex here. You can get up on the grass, because this one here is quite fast leading around the back. Be careful not to float too wide. But this is the corner, so let's try and see if we can get it a bit better. There's no cut there. So that's what I mean. You know, I'm still working on this. I'm still adjusting this setup. I'm trying to sort of tweak it and make it work for me. Got a little bit wide there, but I was able to recover with that shift back to third. Alright, so we're in the low 1 minute 14s. I think the quick guys are going to be doing 13s and probably 12 in quali. 14.41. Let's bring around once more. Again there, left my shift a little bit later, but I'm carrying a fair bit of speed in there. It's a bit harder to blow the engine in these cars than the old Gen 2 ones, but people still do it, so you got to be wary of it. And again here, just trying to find a line where you can just manage both. It's little touches here and there. And again, the fast guys, well, that's where they're really going to shine. Let's see how we go here. Maybe just a touch early there. So I've still got work to do myself. Now, as far as this track guide goes, there is a 31% chance of rain in the American server. So we will do a couple of laps in the wet after this. Oh, a little bit early there on my brake. You can run fairly wide here, but there's a cut there if you do that. Now the pit entry just over here on the entry, and again there's no real marker that you can use there, so it's all about judging your distance. Alright, so let's bring it in, park her up, and I will be back soon with the wet version of this track guide. It is quite a fun track to drive, but you can see that you're staying in third for a long time through that middle section. And that's where you're going to sort of gain or lose your time.
Front left, 95%. Rear left, 94.
Okay, so at the moment, this setup seems to be looking after its tyres. We'll see how we go in the wet. Cheers. Howdy everyone, Cowy. I'm back with the wet portion of this track guide. It's quite a tricky track in the wet, especially those first couple of laps when the tyres are cold. There are parts where you need to sort of get up on the curbs, but there's also parts where you definitely want to try and take a different line and get off the rubbered in sections. I've set the track to 60% track usage. Couldn't find a server with rain in it, so I've just generated one here. It's about 20% or 25%, I think. But you can see here, cold rubber. As soon as you get near the section of the track that's got a bit of usage on it, there's just no grip. Now, a lot of other tracks, I would say, you know, you're braking fairly close to your brake markers, but here you really need to be smooth and light on your braking in some places. So we're probably going to move it back a whole board. So like here, we would be braking at the 400 and going back to third.
Okay, Andrew.
Ride the curb.
Looks like it's getting harder.
Alright, and here. Probably go back to second because I'm trying to come out sort of mid-track and stay away from the rubber that's right out on the left edge there. You can just see how shiny it is out there. Alright, so same thing. Coming in here, we're going to brake about the 600. And we've gone too deep. Oh, we got away with it. Have we? No. Alright, let's keep going. So yeah, so I think I broke at the 500 instead of the 600. So a little bit earlier. Oh, and you can see there again. Alright, trying to go a little bit around the outside. But it is a juggle here. Now this corner here, it's really hard to use the outside. You lose a bit of speed. So you're sort of trying to manage the car through the rubber. And in this corner, I'm going back to second with this corner, but not hitting the apex, because again, it's pretty slippery. Alright, so down here we're going to look at braking at the 400. And again, going back to third. And you can see even then the car sliding. I was unable to get the car where I wanted it. Oh, again, might be worth staying in third there. Just have to see how we go. But again, staying away from those big rubbered areas. All right, let's look for the 600 this time. Going back to second a bit earlier. There we go. That's a bit better. You can get up over that curb. Try and get mid-track if you can. That's where the puddle does. Same thing here. Bringing the flap at mid-track. Again. Be wary. I'm not hitting this apex. I'm taking this one wide. And this one here, I'm slowing up the car a little bit more than I would normally. Alright. Try the apex. You see there, the car just wants to rotate. And I'm down on the lap before. Alright. Well, let's bring around and we'll bring it into the pits. I think you guys can get the idea of what it's going to be like here in the wet. It is starting to dry out, so this session has probably served its purpose. Whoa. And again, you know, there's not a lot to gain here, I think, coming into the pits super hot. So, maybe a second or so. But again, you know, Slider, get it wrong, there's a 40-second penalty. Alright everyone, well thanks very much for watching as always. I do hope you guys are enjoying these track guides. They're by no means perfect, I never intended them to be. This is an average sim racer who's got a few hours a week to spend on his hobby and try and fit it all in and fit these track guides in as well for you all. Thanks very much for your...
Left rear, 97.
Okay, I'll have a look at that. It was... Oh yes, I'm only using 1% or 2 in the wet. Again, just take it easy the first couple of laps because that's how long it takes for the tyres to get up to temp. But thanks very much. Over 1,000 subs now. Can't believe there's that many people out there that are enjoying my content, but thanks very much. And I will see you all out on track.
Okay, Andrew,
Cheers.
it's starting to drizzle.